it's so good. It feels so great. It feels amazing. Back on the mic, your boy KG has returned. And for a brand new episode of the Most Definitely Music Show. It's your boy KG, Kai Gilkey, coming back to you here on these wonderful airwaves. And it's so great to be back to talk about this wonderful thing we call music. The one thing that rules the world, that everybody moves to the beat of their heart, their minds, everything too. I'm going to say right now, because if you're not a music fan, well, I got nothing for you. Well, anyway, nonetheless, but we're here to talk about what we love, and that's the wonderful thing called music. And, you know, it's been a while since we got a chance to actually be back on the waves and be able to talk a little bit, just do some catching up since we had our last episode talking about the business of concerts and shows. I've been to plenty of concerts since then. Have gotten a chance to see some wonderful bands and artists. I've gotten a chance to go see Fall Out Boy. They were just on their current tour, So Much for Stardust tour for their new album. Was able to see Snoop Dogg, Wiz Khalifa, Too Short, and Warren G all in concert. Such an amazing show. It was amazing to be able to see them. And I gotta say, Snoop brought the hits. Him and Wiz, but Snoop, he did a damn great job. And man, it was so great to see a lot of people there, be able to enjoy Snoop, enjoy Wiz. I mean, it was just have a great time. It was just so good to see music living well, and especially hip hop music, even if it's older. I also got a chance to go see 50 Cent. He was on tour. 50 was on tour with Jeremiah and Busta Rhymes for the Final Lap tour, which is basically celebrating the 20th anniversary of his Get Rich or Die Trying album. If you don't know what that is, it's probably one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time, and the album that turns 50 Cent into a superstar. And got a chance to also even see another great classic band. Well, I won't say classic. Why am I doing that to them? Even though, yes, they're a little bit. They're a more mature band, The Offspring, and they were with Simple Plan. So if you're a big rock, big punk or emo person, they were there. And Sum 41 was also on the track as well for their last time performing live for their tour. And it was really great. Gotten a chance to travel, go see some great places. Of course, going back to seeing the beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, my hometown. And I also even got a chance to go to Detroit, Michigan, to go see some great family, and also to go see WWE SummerSlam, which was an amazing event, by the way. It was so great. So big shout outs to my boy Tony. We had a great job. We had a great time. Great time. And we did a great job of enjoying ourselves, being able to check out the sights and sounds of the Midwest. And it was an amazing opportunity for us to get a chance to see the city. And Detroit's done a great job of revitalizing itself. So big shout out to Detroit for trying to bring itself back from all the chaos and the dark times that they were in. So it was really nice to see Detroit. And then I got a chance to also even see the Detroit Lions training camp. Shout outs to Brad Holmes. He is the VP and general manager of the Detroit Lions. And I just want to say thank you again for your help, man. And also I hope that you and the Lions do a great job this year. You have drafted very well, and I know that all that hard work and fruition is going to come to it. So thank you again, and hopefully you have a great 2023 season. And yeah, man, we got a lot of good things coming up. We got a lot more concerts is going to be coming soon, so there will be some more footage being posted regarding a lot of those shows I got a chance to go check out. You can, again, check us out at Most Definitely Music on Instagram, and you can always, again, follow us on any of your streaming platforms. But make sure you give us a follow. Let us know what you want to hear, more things that you'd like to see when it comes to Most Definitely. And we'll definitely try our best. Actually, we're going to do what we can to bring it on and make it happen, whether it's interviews, whether it is being able to record live from concerts, whether it is, I don't know, recording in different spaces, doesn't really matter. We're going to do everything we can to make this podcast grow and become better. And even in speaking with growing it and being able to talk a little bit more, today's show, I wanted to shift that focus more over to an artist who has been growing for a long time and who has really, in my opinion, he has become one of the most known artists in the world, and whether famously or even infamously. And the person I'm talking about is Travis Scott. If you don't know who Travis Scott, Mr. Travis Scott is a artist out of Houston, Texas. Travis was also a protege of not only T.I., but also of Kanye. He was originally on Good Music's production wing of Very Good Beats. He produced a lot and co-produced a lot of things with Kanye for a lot of different artists. He was once signed to Grand Hustle Records with T.I. for his first 2 albums, which was Rodeo and Birds. Actually, 3 albums. Birds, which was Rodeo, the first one. Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight, which is the second album. And then third album was back in 2018, probably the best album he made that's really turned him into a superstar, which was Astroworld. And with Travis, man, Travis I have to give, because to be honest, when I first heard about Travis, I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know what's so great about him. I mean, I knew that he was signed to, Good Music, to a Very Good Beats, whatever, how you want to call it. But I knew that he was, I didn't know really much about him. And when I started hearing his music, I was like, okay, it sounds cool. Especially the main song I heard was Antidote. And I was like, okay, this is not bad. I used to hear it blaring every morning on the radio on Power 105.1 in New York when I was working for the Brooklyn Nets. That was basically an alarm for me because the Breakfast Club was playing it every fucking morning. And I was kind of like, okay, whatever. But when Astroworld came out, it took me a while. It took me a while to get onto him, but when Astroworld came out, I said, I'm going to really give him a try. And so, even though I heard songs like Goosebumps and a couple of other songs, Astroworld is what did it for me. I was like, oh, wow, he's really taking it up a level. He changed not just from where he was when he first started doing Rodeo, but he put everything on such a grand scale. And his production was not only be able to show how eclectic he was from a style standpoint, it also invoked emotion and also the rage factor when it comes to Travis. Travis is he's that person who's full of energy. If you haven't seen any of his performances, first time I saw Travis live, he opened up for Kendrick Lamar on the Damn Tour back in 2017. And I remember looking at Travis, because this is when Butterfly Effect was out, and I liked Butterfly Effect. And I remember looking at it, and I was like, why the fuck is he on this big-ass bird? But everybody was loving it. He had the crowd hyped. It was humongous energy. And when he played Butterfly Effect, everybody went crazy. And I loved the song, too. And I was like, oh, shit. He's got something. But jumping back, Astroworld was really the song that really got me into him. The album that got me into him. And since then, taking a chance to go back and go listen to Birds in the Trap, Sing McKnight, which is an amazing album, and his first album, Rodeo. And like I said, now here we are with Travis. He is now on his 4th studio album, which is called UTOPIA. UTOPIA has been this album that has been in the works for about 5 years now. Even like literally right after he was creating Astroworld, he went straight to work on UTOPIA. Great album title, and I just gotta say, the funniest thing about it is, for an album title called UTOPIA, it really was more about the dystopian effects of society and even of the lifestyle. One of the best things about it I like with Travis that he did first is when promoting this was the visuals. The album art, he started showing different album arts when it came to the album itself, showing these different, how could I say it? I guess different forms of what Utopia could be. Really more dystopia, if I really think about it. He released 4 different alternative album covers. You can check them out online, Google it. But the final one that he created was this pitch black background and him falling, which really says a lot about what the album is to talk about. And again, this is his when it comes to Utopia, this is his first album off of Grand Hustle, and he's been using his platform and his record label, which is Cactus Jack, which he is basically put along with all of his products now at this point. Actually, what's funny about it, I still think to myself, Cactus Jack is an interesting name because Cactus Jack is still the name of Mick Foley's alter ego for his hardcore matches when he was in WWE or F, really more E, well actually F, whatever. Standpoint, nonetheless, it was a actually good name to use, but it's funny he uses it for all that. But when it comes to Travis and creating this record label and also using it as the springboard for other artists, whether it's Sheck West. If you don't know who Sheck West is, it's, you probably heard the song Mo Bamba that gets played around in the clubs and all sorts of places. Or even his main artist now, Don Toliver. What I really love about what Travis has done, as even when it comes to this album, is being able to take all the different styles, whether it's from the artists that he signed, the ones that, or even the sounds that he's into, being able to bring it all together. What he's done to create Cactus Jack into the label has become the brand that it's become for himself, and incorporate that into who he is as an artist. When it comes to Utopia, I just gotta admit, man, the success of it has been insane. We're going to get into a little bit more about in depth about what I think about it, but some more background. Utopia for 4 weeks running was #1 on the Billboard charts. He first sold over 490,000 records his first week. Since then, at 5 weeks now selling, he has sold over 1,085,000 units. Now basically certified. Well, I mean, it's not yet certified, but basically eligible for platinum status. Travis now has his longest #1 album. And what's interesting was that he actually beat out Lil Uzi Vert, who had the first #1 hip hop album on the Billboard charts, on the Billboard 200 charts, that hadn't been for almost a year, which is interesting. And so he's now has the numbers, the second album to go #1 this year. It's, like I said earlier, it's his first solo album since Astroworld in 2018, and also the first body of work that he's done in regards to music since his Jack Boys, which, going back to the Cactus Jack records, Cactus Jack record compilation called Jack Boys, which is kind of like how Rich Gang or Cash Money calls himself Rich Gang. So similar in that, so you can get the context. He released that back in 2019, and then ever since then, he's done a lot of stuff. And like I said, going back to what I said, that was famous and infamous. Since he released all those different bodies of work, Travis has been on different projects with different artists. He has created a lot of different albums. Even when he was with, he did a collab album called Huncho Jacko with him and Quavo. Didn't really do the best critically, but he moved on from that. And then just being featured on different artists, whether it was Young Thug, whether it was with Drake, whether it was a plethora of artists, even when it came to Kanye, many others, in the time that he wasn't doing an actual studio album or even during the time he was crafting Utopia. But the biggest infamous moment with him during this time has been back in 2021 at Travis's Astro World Fest that he created. And he had in his hometown of Houston. It was an annual concert fest that he was having. But this particular one in 2021 was a tragic scene because 10 people died from a crowd rush that happened. And that was as of June 29, 2023. And since then, as of that date, the Texas grand jury did decline to indict him on charges related to the deaths of Astroworld, but he did get an assload of lawsuits, from all the victims, families, and So after that entire tragic scene and all the accidents that happened at the fest, Travis holed himself up for a while. He took himself off social media, didn't see anything, public appearances. He was gone for a while. He was really ghost. And so in that time, you didn't see nothing in regards to Travis. And if you don't know this, Travis has a very big fan base. Even when it came to the vilification and the criticism he was getting online in regards to the Utopia, in regards to the Astro World Fest, the Astro World accidents and incidents, it was interesting to see that a lot of people got at him, but people still stood by Travis. There are those who felt like, again, it wasn't his fault. I mean, it's a concert. He can't control how the crowd acts. And then there's the people who still who still put that responsibility because it's still his concert. And also from the viral footage of him not stopping the concert when one fan passed out in the crowd. Even though there's also other footage of showing him trying to show concern and trying to get trying to show them where the fan fell out at, but still, it was still not a good look overall with everything. So he took himself off from the public and focused on his music and his family. And now, over the last year, Travis has been making little sporadic appearances, being on someone's album, all that kind of, all these different songs, trying to bring his hype back up. So, which brings us now to the fact that here we are, Utopia. He released Utopia about 4 weeks ago. And one of the best things that I've got to say about Travis is that he knows how to do an album rollout. This man definitely goes hard, and that's what happens when you get more money. When you get more money from your label. And also, you made a lot of money. But yeah, the album released on July 28th. It's been replayed by a lot of different people. The album has 19 tracks on it, about close to 80 minutes, about 73 minutes. For me, in regards to the album, here's my review. I give it a solid 7 out of 10. Why? I will say the reason why is because, one, this album is huge in its production value. That's one of the things I do, like I said earlier, I do love about what Travis has done. He's evolved as his music has gone, as his music has gone by, in terms of the years. He's improved, he's changed up, he's added different elements, different styles. So I do like that about him. So it's very big in its production and its delivery. One of the things I will say is that he takes a lot of influence, in my opinion, for this album, like his mentor, Kanye, in regards to Yeezy. Yeezus, I'm sorry, not Yeezy. Yeezus. I'm sorry. What's wrong with me? 2013 13 album from Kanye, Yeezus, which many would call one of the best albums of the 2010s. If not probably one of the best albums of all time. And you can hear from whether it's the distorted sounds, whether it's the hard 808s or drum patterns, whether it's the I don't know what you call it, the synthesizing intros to a lot of them, having that kind of dark feel. You feel that influence in this album. And one of the best things that I think that Travis did was the promotion behind the album and also creating a concept with it. He released this film called Circus Maximus, which serves as, again, the film and the visual piece to Utopia. And with it, he's got different videos that go along with it. And also another thing about the name of it, the Circus Maximus name basically comes from the ancient Roman chariot racing stadium, where you would see like in movies and stuff like that, with the like they were competing and stuff. So he takes it from that. And with it, he did all these he went in the film. It serves, again, like I said, the visual piece for the album for different songs, like So Further Notice, there's Hyena, there's Sirens, Del Restro, Modern Jam, and also incorporates different concert footage from his return concert in Italy that he did in Pompeii. With it, though, I like the fact that that's a part of the rollout, but also that it gives us this visual idea of what Travis is trying to do. And it's like I said, he is a very great creative artist, and why he's become one of my favorites. Now, what I will also say with this album, it is very experimental. Whether it is the concepts that he's trying to, again, relay from a visual and from a sonic standpoint, whether it is different songs, even like Fiend, as good as I like Fiend, which I think is one of the standout tracks on it, you can hear how he's doing these different songs, and even like God's Country, trying to make the song sound a little more soft and then raising it to a higher level, doing more of his hip-hop stuff when it comes to Meltdown, or listening to a song like Modern Jam that sounds like this stripped down, like 90s, it's hard to like really hard-hitting bass sound, club, like real club sound, if that makes sense. This it sounds stripped down, sounds like you're in a acid type style club, and all you hear is this doom doom doom, and it's just it's amazing just hearing him use it and how he constructs he constructs songs such as that. And even when it came to some of the other songs, whether it's K-pop, was Bad Bunny and The Weeknd, or Telekinesis with SZA and Future, you really get the idea that Travis is trying to show not just his talent, but he's also trying to show this vision of what the dystopian world he's created feels like. Whether it's superstardom, the fame, the drugs, the money, life in this crazy world that we're in, whatever the case may be, it just shows and gives you this feeling of what he sees. And I think that's one of the best things about him. The only thing I won't say the only thing, a couple other things, I feel like because of the grand delivery of the album, it hurts the album, because there's, as experimental as it is, and I like experimental things. I like when artists are able to experiment. The cohesion is not there from an album standpoint. The songs survive, in my opinion, by themselves, but the album as a whole does not reflect the sum of its parts. And I think that this is an album, again, that Travis is using to be able to probably use to propel whatever the next album is. Okay, I did this for Utopia, and whatever the next album is, okay, I can listen to it and see what maybe worked, what didn't work, and then come back to it. But that's how I felt about the experimental nature, and just in regards to the album itself, it's it doesn't fire on all the cylinders I would like for it to. And that plays a big part. That's from a big part in its replay value. The replay value when it comes to Utopia, compared to what all his super fans and all these other people on the internet are saying, to me is, I can't say low, but it's not average, in my opinion. I feel like with Travis on this album, the replay value could have been better in terms of just the production. You can be experimental and still do well. A great way of being able to, even think of something like that is like To Pimp a Butterfly with Kendrick Lamar. Why the replay value of that album is not as high as some of his others, because of the emotional and the music content or lyrical content of it. The album still works all together, and you can listen to it again to not just get the message, but to get the feel of what Kendrick is relaying. And that's a very experimental album. That's a great example of what an experimental album is, while still being able to have replay value, even if it's not as high. And I just feel like that's where Utopia missed that. But I do think that with Travis, he can be able to come back with another album and be able to change that. I do feel like he has all the great makings of being able to create an album similar to something like Astroworld, and even his even Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight, where the replay value is very high. And that, again, doesn't mean you have to have all these great trap or certain types of beats that just sound regular. Oh, they're just gonna go for just nodding your head. You can do it in plenty of ways, and you can find ways to be able to still make the album sound good, grand, and experimental, and still have people want to come back to it more and more and more. But that's me. That's just how I feel. I think that Travis is gonna do, and hopefully he takes that and be able to learn and apply that to the next album. And I definitely can't wait to be able to hear it whenever he decides to do that. And just to even, like I said, say from earlier, a few of the standout tracks that I mentioned, Meltdown featuring him and Drake, that's a great song. Of course, Drake's over there shooting off of the hip with different disses at whether it's Pharrell or the Clips, especially Pusha T, his long-standing battle in regards to him. But it's, again, one of the standout tracks, if anything. It's the song probably a lot of people really like listening to. Modern Jam, like I mentioned earlier, is a really great track. Fiend featuring Playboi Carti, except versus, and the man's not going against them. Featuring Playboi Carti is a really great track to me. It's actually one of my favorites. I really like listening to it. It's got such that infectious feeling of it. I mean, that's why it's called Fiend. And I really do enjoy listening to that. That's definitely a hit. Del Restro, which featured Queen Bee, Beyonce, which served as one of the singles for the album, came out a few hours before the album got released on digital platforms, and everybody was all in the blaze about it because they had Queen Bee on there, and it's not a bad track. It's really good. I do like the mix and chemistry that he and Beyonce had, the production value of that, and I think that Del Restro definitely stands as one of the higher tracks on the album as well. K-Pop is another one of the standouts, which became one of the singles featuring him and Bad Bunny in The Weeknd, which I mentioned before previously. and it's an actually good pop track. It's I definitely think it's a chart topper. It hasn't topped the charts, but it was actually a hit on the Hot 100. But this is a really good one. If he releases a little bit more in the summer, it probably could have been a really good summer song, in my opinion. But nonetheless. And then there's Telekinesis featuring him, SZA, and Future, which is a very interesting combination. But when I really think of it, I mean, not really, because just of what all those artists can represent. Travis represents the rage and the feeling of letting your emotions go. SZA represents the woman and the feeling of love, and also the soft touch to it. And of course, Future represents the fortune, the fame, but also the toxicity that comes with being in certain relationships. But it all blends together to create such an amazing track. When it comes to them, all their voices are very amazing. They have such great vocal range, and how they blend it together with this song. So I would have to say all those are some really great standout tracks. And like I said, all these songs, they shine very well individually when it comes to the album. But again, the album just, as a sum of its part, is not whole. And even with me giving it a solid 7 out of 10, still, it could have been better. That's how I feel. So, hey, if you have a different opinion, let me know. You can hit us up on most definitely on Instagram. Send us a DM. Reply to our stories. Follow us. And hey, you can even follow me on my Instagram as well at nfault. E as in Edward, N as in Nancy, D as in David, Fault, Fault. And let me know what your thoughts are. I would really like to hear it. I'd love to be able to see what you think about it. If you're a super fan, cool. If you're not a super fan, cool. Still love to be able to hear what you think. If you're a big music head, tell me. I'm all ears. But definitely, I'm glad to hear that Travis is back. One of the other cool things about Travis is that he's going on tour. He's going on his Circus Maximus tour, and it'll be really great to see him. He's going to be coming to a city near you starting in late October, and he's going to be hitting a lot of cities, including the ATL. And he's already sold out many different dates and already added second shows. So if you're a Travis Scott fan, go online, look it up, see what city he's coming to, plan a trip if you want to. If you don't, all right, fuck it, do your own thing. So I'll just let you know I'm gonna find a way. Oh man, but nonetheless, it's good to hear Travis Scott back in the fold. It's good to hear him being back and enjoying himself with music. And it'll be interesting to see what he does for his next project or whatever his next moves are. And definitely looking forward to more music coming here in the next couple of months. We'll see different artists that'll be coming in. Drake's got his album For All the Dogs coming soon. Don't know when the album's gonna be out. It was supposed to come out August 25th, quote unquote, but that didn't happen. He never said it was supposed to come out that day, so whatever. So that's gonna be one of the biggest anticipated albums of the year. And we're hearing more stuff about Kanye is preparing new music. We've heard there's a lot of different things in regards to artists of who's supposed to be coming out soon, but we'll definitely cover all that whenever they do get released, and most definitely it's got you on lock and be able to let you know what we think and how we feel about the music that comes out, whether it's old, whether it's new, whether it's future. We here to provide you our voice and opinion, and we definitely appreciate you listening to us. So again, that is a wrap for this episode of the Most Definitely Music Show. Again, you can follow us on Instagram at Most Definitely Music, and you can also follow me on Instagram, your boy KG, at InDefault on Instagram as well. And remember, follow us and subscribe on all of your streaming platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, that is Google Podcasts, and that is also on Spotify. So definitely continue to support and listen to our show. And again, let us know what you want to see. Give us some feedback. Always open to it and love to be able to see how we can continue to grow this podcast into what we would love for it to be. The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Shout out to Bret Hart. Anyway, have a great time, family. Thank you again for listening. Your boy KG is out. And remember, we are the voice of a new generation, here to provide you the best that music can provide and the best voice that music is heard. Talk to you soon. Peace!